Alrighty, guys, we're just one day away from the college football season. And if you want to see which 3 games I'm betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for my college football tier package bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And the link for those plays is in the description section below. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video here today for Friday, August 26, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I've been doing sports picks for free right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And I'm coming fresh off a perfect 3-0 day in my personal bets on that site yesterday. And because of that, I also improved to 5-0 in my last 5 extra daily bets on that site as well. Now, the extra daily bet is a package that I offer. And if you sign up for that membership here today, you're going to get access to that package every single day all the way until September 1st. And as an added bonus here, guys, I'm going to throw in my daily best play for you absolutely free. So you're actually going to get access to 2 of my personal bets every single day all the way through the end of August if you sign up for that extra daily bet here today. Now, guys, I currently have over 625 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. And if you want to see my current sports betting record, you can do that for free right now by going to the homepage. It's posted there for everybody to see. Now, guys, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on patreon.com/BrockPage is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Dodgers squaring off against the Marlins, 6:40 p.m. East. Now, this game's currently off the board. Tyler Anderson for Los Angeles, and no confirmed starter yet for Miami. But regardless of who hurls out the first pitch for Miami, they've had a tough time getting the W here recently. They lost 5 out of their last 7, and they averaged just 2.4 runs a game during that time frame. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. These Marlins hitters are in the bottom 5 in baseball in runs per game. They're also facing Tyler Anderson, who's been virtually unhittable. The lefty's 13-2 with an ERA of 2.73. He's also struck out 107 batters and has a 1.02 whip. Now, we're also looking at a Dodger team as a whole who got the W in 5 out of their last 6. And they scored double digits 3 times during that span. Freddie Freeman's hitting a team-best 326 at the plate. Meanwhile, Trey Turner is 6th in the bigs with 85 runs batted in. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers -1.5. Getting the job done for some run line cash. Next matchup, it is going to be Reds Nationals, 7:05 East. Washington's the $1.50 favorite at home, totals 8.5. Cade Cavalli making his debut for Washington, Mike Minor for Cincinnati. And make no mistake here, guys, Mike Minor's been dog crap all season long. Having said that, though, the Reds have done a nice job scoring runs against Washington. These guys are averaging nearly 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Nats. Kyle Farmer's leading the club in batting average and RBI. Now they're taking on a Washington club who's had a tough time getting the W at home. These guys have a win percentage of just .301 in the nation's capital. And no real shock here, guys. Their lineup's in the bottom 10 in home scoring. Now, total-wise, the Reds saw 5 out of their last 7 road games get over the number. As a matter of fact, these guys are 29-22 to the over in all of their contests away from home this year. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Cincinnati +1.5, over 8.5 runs. Next matchup, it is going to be Pirates-Phillies, 7:05 East. Now, Philadelphia is the $2.70 favorite at Citizens Bank Park. Totals 9 runs. Bailey Falter for the Titans. Bryce Wilson for Pittsburgh. And out of 78-plus innings, Wilson got the W only twice. The Righty's currently got himself a 2-7 record with an ERA of 5.74. And even if Bryce ends up pitching well here today, the Buccos are currently on a 5-game skid, and they have one of the worst hitting lineups in baseball. Pittsburgh second to last in the league in team batting average. They're also striking out more times a game than any other club in the National League. Now they're facing Bailey Falter here today on the other side of things, who's got himself a 1.29 whip, and he averages nearly a strikeout an inning. Now the Phillies are also coming fresh off a 4-game sweep of the Reds, where they averaged 5.5 runs a game in that very series. Now Kyle Schwarber, he has a National League best 35 home runs. He's also in the top 20 in the entire league in runs batted in. Meanwhile, teammate Alec Boehm, he has the highest qualifying batting average in the lineup here today. Now when it comes to the total in this one, 5 out of Philly's last 8 contests at Citizens Bank Park got over the number. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Phillies -1.5, over 9. Next ball game, it is going to be Angels taking on the Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's the $1.85 favorite at home. Total is 8.5 runs. Mitch White for Toronto, Reed Detmers for Los Angeles. Detmers has actually given these guys a legit chance to win ball games this year. He's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.15 whip. And out of 98 1/3 innings of work, the lefty's got 94 strikeouts. Now as a team, the Angels won 3 out of their last 5 ball games, where Detmers made the start. They averaged 7 runs a game in those victories during that span. Of course, Shohei Ohtani, he's the club leader in home runs and RBI. He's facing Mitch White for Toronto, who's got just 13-plus innings of work under his belt with the Blue Jays. And during that short span, well, White's already got himself a 1.50 whip. Now, the Jays have also had a tough time cashing in on the run line this year. Out of 61 contests at Rogers Center, the Jays covered the 1.5 in just 39% of those games. Now, when it comes to the number, Toronto went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Angels saw 5 out of their last 7 on the road fall under the total as well. I'm going to lean toward the Angels plus 1.5, under 8 and a hook. Next ball game, little AL East action. I'm talking about the Rays squaring up against the Red Sox, 7-10 Beantown. Now, Boston's -1.25 at Fenway, totals 9. Michael Wacha for Boston, JT Chargois for Tampa Bay. And it really doesn't matter who makes the start for Tampa. These guys are red hot right now. Not only have they won their last 6 straight, they average nearly 6 runs a game during that time frame. Randy Arozarena leads the franchise in homers and runs batted in. Meanwhile, Yandy Diaz has the highest qualifying batting average in the lineup here today. Now they're facing a Boston team who lost their last 4 straight, and they also dropped 6 out of their last 7. Now Boston has also been terrible against the AL East this year. They've won just 9 out of 25 divisional home games. When it comes to the total, Boston's 14-11 to the under against the AL East at home. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay's 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to lean toward the Rays plus 105, under 9. Next matchup, it is going to be Rockies at the Mets, 7:10 Eastern first pitch in Flushing, Queens. The New York Mets are the $3.35 favorite, totals 8 runs. Chris Bassett for New York, Chad Kuhl for Colorado. Now, Kuhl's got a losing record and an ERA in the 5s. And in addition to losing 7 out of their last 10, the Rockies play their worst baseball away from Denver. These guys are just 18-40 while traveling, and they're nearly dead last in road scoring. And they're also facing Chris Bassett, who's got 11 wins for New York and an ERA in the low 3s. Now, Bassett's also punched out 138 batters. He's got a whip of 1.13. Now, Chris is also backed by a powerful lineup of hitters who rank in the top 5 in the league in scoring. Pete Alonso, he is currently 3rd in the bigs in RBI with 104. His 31 home runs is also 4th in the bigs as well. When it comes to the total, 4 out of Bassett's last 7 starts did get over the line. Meanwhile, the Rockies on the other side, they went 60% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Mets, -1.5 in the over 8 runs. Next contest, Tigers, Rangers, 8:05 East. Texas is the $1.60 favorite at home. Totals 8 runs. Glenn Otto for the Rangers, Tyler Alexander for Detroit. And as bad as Alexander's been, he does have an ERA very close to the 3s. He also comes into today's ball game with a respectable 1.26 whip. And much to everyone's surprise, the Tigers actually won 3 out of their last 4 ball games. And they averaged just about 5 runs a game in those victories. Now, Javi Baez, he's currently leading the team right now in batting average, home runs, and RBI. And of course, those numbers aren't all that impressive, but regardless, he is the team leader in those categories. Now, the Tigers, they are facing Glenn Otto here today for Texas, and he hasn't been great. He's just 5-8 on the year with an ERA of 4.66. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Rangers failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 at Globe Life Field. Now, the Rangers' biggest issue at the plate has been strikeouts. These guys are fanning more times a game than most clubs in the American League. When it comes to the total, 7 out of Texas's last 10 fell under the posted total. Meanwhile, the Tigers went 80% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Detroit +1.5, under 8. Next ball game, it is going to be Cubs, Brewers, 8:10 p.m. East. Milwaukee's the $1.45 favorite at home, total 7.5 runs. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee, Justin Steele for Chicago. And as good as Steele's been, the Cubbies, they just don't want to win for the guy. He's 4-7 on the year with a 1.35 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Cubbies lost 4 out of their last 6. They also have a tough time getting on base on the road. These guys are currently in the bottom 10 in the majors right now in road hits. They're also facing Freddie Peralta on the other side of things, who's 4-3 on the year and averages over a strikeout an inning. Now, Freddie also comes into today's ball game with a very respectable 1.17 whip. Now, hitting-wise, the Brewers, they're a legit threat to hit the long ball at any given time. These guys are actually in the top 3 in baseball right now in homers per game. Rowdy Tellez has a team-best 26 home runs and ranks in the top 20 in RBI. Now, when it comes to the total, oddly enough here, guys, Milwaukee's 15-11 to the under in their divisional home games. Meanwhile, Chicago went 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Brewers, -145, under 7.5. Next matchup, little interleague play here. I'm talking about the Giants squaring off against the Twins, 8:10 p.m. East. Minnesota's the $1.30 favorite at home, total 7.5 runs. Joe Ryan for Minnesota, Alex Wood for San Francisco. And even though Woods had a handful of shaky outings, it ain't for a lack of strikeouts. This guy has 122 Ks on the year along with a 1.22 whip. The Giants have also played real well against the American League this year. They're 6-1 in their last 7 interleague road games. Wilmer Flores, he's leading the franchise in RBI with 59 of them. He's got to face an ice-cold Minnesota team who lost their last 6 straight. And when it comes to offensive production, well, the Twins averaged only 2 runs a game during that current losing streak I just mentioned. And I'll tell you this much, that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. The Twins have struggled hitting for power for most of the season, pretty much all season long. These guys actually find themselves right now in the bottom 5 in the league in home runs per contest. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Minnesota's last 7 ball games at Target Field fell under the number. No real surprise there. Meanwhile, the Giants on the other side, they went 80% to the under in their last 10. Give me San Francisco plus 1.5, keeping this one close, under 7. Next ball game, it is going to be Padres Royals, 8:10 p.m. East. The San Diego Padres are minus 190, totals 8. Joe Musgrove for San Diego, Chris Bubich for Kansas City. Now, Boobies is just 2-8 on the year with a 5.29 ERA. Meanwhile, as a team, the Royals dropped 7 out of their last 10 ball games, and they have a tough time hitting the baseball. Not only are these guys in the bottom 5 in home runs, they're averaging just 3.9 runs a game for the entire year. They're also facing Joe Musgrove here today, who's been solid all season long. Joe's got himself a 2.91 ERA and a 1.01 whip. When it comes to striking batters out, Joe has 136 strikeouts and just 139 innings of work. Now, hitting-wise, there's really not many teams who do it better on the road than San Diego. These guys are in the top 3 in road scoring, and they're led by Manny Machado, who has 76 RBI on the season. Now, Machado is also the club leader in batting average and home runs. When it comes to the total in this one, the Pods saw their last 5 interleague road games all get over the number. As a matter of fact, they've gone 75% to the over in all of their contests against the American League this year. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Royals saw their last 3 at Kauffman Stadium get over the line. I'm going to lean toward the San Diego Padres minus 1.5 on the road in the over 8. Next game, O's Astros, 8:10 Eastern start time. Houston's the $2.25 favorite at home. Totals 8.5 runs. Lance McCullers for Houston. Kyle Bradish for Baltimore. Now, Bradish has certainly had a rough go of things here this year. He comes into today's start with a 1-5 record on the season and an ERA of 6.25. Now, the O's also play their worst baseball away from home. They're winning only 44% of their road games. They're in the bottom 10 in team batting average. Now they're taking on Lance McCullers on the other side of things, who's got a 2.43 ERA and a very short body of work. The Stros have also won their last 4 straight as a team. And in addition to that, they can certainly hit it out of the ballpark at any given moment. Really a team that can hit for power. The Stros are in the top 5 in home runs. And they're led by Yordan Alvarez, who's 4th in the league in homers. Alvarez is also 3rd in the bigs in OPS at the dish. When it comes to the scoring, Houston saw unders in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. Meanwhile, Baltimore went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Houston minus 1.5, under 8 and a hook. Next ball game, it is going to be Diamondbacks taking on the White Sox. That's going to be an 8:10 Eastern start time on the south side. Chicago's the $1.70 favorite at home. Totals 8.5 runs. Johnny Cueto for Chicago. Tommy Henry for Arizona. And even though Tommy's got limited innings under his belt, Tommy certainly made the most of it. He's got a couple of wins on the year along with a 3.57 ERA. Meanwhile, the D-backs pitching staff as a whole, they've done a pretty nice job on the road this year. They're actually in the top 10 in fewest road hits allowed. They're taking on a Chicago club on the other side of things who lost 6 out of their last 8 themselves. And in addition to that, they've also had a tough time cashing in on the run line. Now, out of Chicago's last 5 interleague home games, they covered the 1.5 only once. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise here. Chicago's covering just 39% of their ball games at Guaranteed Rate Field for the entire year. So definitely a team that struggles, covering the 1.5 at home. Now, total-wise, 7 out of Chicago's last 10 outings did fall under the number. Meanwhile, the D-backs on the other side, they saw 5 out of their last 7 road games stay under the total. I'm going to lean toward Arizona plus 1.5, under 8 and a hook. Next ball game, it is going to be Braves at the Cardinals, 8:15 Eastern first pitch. Atlanta's the $1.45 favorite on the road, total 7. Spencer Strider for the Braves, Jose Quintana for St. Louis. Now, the Cards have had a tough time scoring against Atlanta in recent meetings. They've averaged less than 2.7 runs a game in their last 10 contests against the Braves. And this Cardinal pitching staff seems kind of bizarre, but they've had a down year with regards to strikeouts. They're actually second to last in the majors in strikeouts per 9 on the mound. Now they're taking on a very tough Atlanta team on the other side of things. Actually, a very tough Atlanta lineup of hitters who currently lead the National League in homers. Austin Riley has a team-best 31 home runs. Matt Olson's also the club leader in RBI with 87. And even if the Braves struggle at the plate, they'll probably be in the game here with Spencer Strider on the mound. He's 7-4 with a 2.95 ERA and a 1.02 whip. Now, Spencer's also been a strikeout machine this year. He's fanned 151 batters in just 100-plus innings. So we're talking about a guy who's averaging well over a strikeout and a half an inning, really almost 2 strikeouts an inning. Now, total-wise, Atlanta went 60% to the over in their last 10 ball games. They also saw overs in their last 6 straight Spencer Strider starts, getting plenty of run support. Meanwhile, Jose Quintana saw overs in 6 out of his last 8 starts himself. I'm going to lean toward Atlanta, minus 145, over 7. Next ball game, it is going to be Yankees Athletics, 9:40 p.m. East. New York's minus 250, total 7. Garrett Cole for New York, J.P. Sears for Oakland. Now, the A's have had a tough time getting on base all season long. They're dead last in team batting average, and they're also scoring only 3.4 runs a game. Now, they're also facing Garrett Cole, who's got 189 strikeouts and a 1.03 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Bombers won their last 4 straight, and they scored 25 total runs during that short span. Aaron Judge has a league-best 48 home runs. He's also leading the Bigs in RBI with 106. And no real surprise here, guys. The Yankees are leading the American League in runs per contest. Now, total-wise, New York did go 60% to the over in their last 10 Garrett Cole starts. Meanwhile, the A's saw overs in 6 out of their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Yankees, minus 1.5. And the over 7 runs. Of that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Guardians taking on the Mariners, 10:10 Eastern start time. Now, both teams are minus $1.10, pretty much a coin flip right now. Total 7 runs. Shane Bieber for Cleveland, Logan Gilbert for Seattle. And even though Gilby's had a fine year, he does struggle with control at times. Meanwhile, as a team, the Mariners dropped 3 out of their last 5. And they average only 2.8 runs a game during that span. Now, that's really not overly shocking. The Seattle lineup has one of the lower team batting averages in the American League. They're also going up against Shane Bieber, who has 144 strikeouts and an ERA in the low 3s. And when it comes to making contact, well, nobody does it better than Cleveland. These guys strike out fewer times a game at the plate than any other team in the major leagues. Of course, Andres Gimenez, he's currently the team leader in batting average. He's hitting a team-best 306 at the dish. Meanwhile, teammate Jose Ramirez, he's third in the Bigs with 104 RBI. Now, when it comes to the total, 3 out of Cleveland's last 4 on the road did fall under the number. They also went 70% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Mariners saw their last 3 straight at T-Mobile Park fall under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland, minus $1.10, under 7. Oh, that was our last breakdown. All right, guys. With that, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. I like the Dodgers, minus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash. Give me Cincinnati plus 1.5, over 8.5. Philadelphia minus 1.5, over 9. LA Angels plus 1.5, under 8.5. And before we go ahead and move on, just a final reminder We're now 5-0 in our last 5 extra daily bets on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. Give me Tampa Bay plus 105 under 9. New York Mets minus 1.5 over 8. Detroit plus 1.5 under 8 runs. Milwaukee minus 145 under 7.5. San Francisco plus 1.5 under 7. San Diego minus 1.5 over 8. Houston Astros minus 1.5 under 8.5. Arizona plus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. Atlanta minus 145 over 7. New York Yankees minus 1.5 over 7 runs. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that if you want to see which one of these free picks on this video that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. I like Cleveland minus $1.10 and the under 7. With that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. If you do end up getting a membership here today, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a package, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way until September 1st. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.